around the switch station. And so right now, the solution to that problem is they're dumping some riffraff, which is the large, chunky rock, to try to prevent that erosion any further or to keep it at a minimum. There are still some other things I think y'all are considering, but right now that's the solution. It's what we're going for. For those of you who don't know, the State Department of Emergency Management is a support and liaising agency to the emergency managers in all 75 counties of Arkansas. So I am here to kind of help coordinate the message. Obviously, the big story of the day is the levee that breached earlier today, so that's serious enough for them to ask me to come in and help them a little bit. FEMA is going to speak in just a second. Daniel from FEMA is going to speak. So in the same manner that I'm here supporting the communication efforts of Yell County, FEMA is supporting me in that same role. Once we kind of reach our capacity, we support one another. So he's going to speak more to the emergency declaration that was signed yesterday. But I want to reassure you, the FEMA you want to see with the individual assistance is coming at some point in time, but this is not that point in time. With floods, you cannot start that individual assistance process until the floodwaters have receded and you're able to go into the homes and do preliminary damage assessments. Does anyone have any quick questions of me before I turn it over to the judge? Yes, ma'am.
Not had any reported injuries, right?
Not in this county, correct? Reported injuries?
No.
Yeah, nope, we're good here in this county.
I know you were trying to get a hold of National Weather Service. Is that flash flood watch still in effect or for this area, or has that been allowed to lapse?
It has expired. The question was, has the flash flood warning for this area, has it been extended? It has expired. I didn't get the full story on that, so I will get you some clarification for that at the end of this. Great, thank you guys. I'll be right here if you just need me. You want to go?
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and have FEMA Region 8 speak on their thing. Sorry, I keep lefting your region out.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Daniel Green. I'm an External Affairs Officer with FEMA here in support of the state of Arkansas during this historic flood. Last night, President Trump signed an emergency declaration, which under the Stafford Act allows him to open up direct federal assistance to the state of Arkansas. At the governor's request, 16 counties have been named to receive direct federal assistance in the ongoing flood fight. These counties are Arkansas, Chico, Conway, Crawford, Dacia, Faulkner, Franklin, Jefferson, Johnson, Lincoln, Logan, Perry, Pope, Pulaski, Sebastian, and last but not least, Yell County. What this emergency declaration is going to do is allow the federal family to come in and support their partners on the state and local level in the ongoing flood fight. As my friend Melody mentioned, at this point, our number one concern is trying to stabilize the incident, save lives, protect property. This emergency declaration is doing that and that alone. Once floodwaters have receded and we're able to do a joint damage assessment with our state and local partners, we will be able to better understand just what damage this flood has wrought and be able to turn on direct federal assistance, if applicable, to help as many people as possible in the natural state. I have time for a few questions.
Are we expecting to reach the threshold, the money threshold for FEMA to issue assistance to homeowners and people who have lost property in these counties? I'll get that one for you.
So again, stabilization is what's going on right now, but we do know that this is a historic flood. Right now, the intent is once the floodwater is received for the Department of Emergency Management to declare or to request a federal disaster declaration.
So just to clarify that, you're waiting until water recedes for a disaster declaration, and that kicks in other...
Yes, ma'am. So what will happen is once the waters recede and we're able to get a full picture, we, meaning myself, or the federal family, our state partners, and our local partners, will be able to go and ascertain the damages in an area to determine what suite of federal direct assistance works best for the people impacted by the floods. However, we can't do that until we get an accurate picture of just what happened with the flood.
And should I be asking you all about the number of homes in the county currently threatened, or should we?
I think that's better saved for county officials. If there are no other questions, I'll keep myself available afterwards.
I have a really quick one for you.
Yeah.
Until you guys do assess and know how much people have lost, are these people just supposed to stay in the shelters they're in now?
The first recourse for those who are affected by the flood, and I want to take this opportunity right now to say that they are impacted, but they are not forgotten. The eyes of the nation are on the Arkansas River Valley right now. Nobody has been forgotten. The nation's thoughts and prayers are with you. But for those who have been affected, their first recourse should be to contact their city and county officials for immediate assistance, as well as beginning to look at what insurance policies can do for them, as well as documenting damages on their own for this long recovery road that we will all be going down together.
So if I am a homeowner who has lost any property, what documentation process should I be going through?
I'd be more than happy to talk with you, go more in depth on that offline. Otherwise, I will be up here for I don't know how long.
Okay.
If there's no other questions, I'll cede my time, but I will be available for further questions afterwards. Thank you.
Okay, a quick rundown. The breach levee now, the gap in the levee is approximately 250 feet wide. Of course, we don't know the depth because certainly can't see it, but I'm sure it's a pretty good depth there. There's been a lot of water running through there and a lot of erosion. It has destroyed Highway 155 there in that area, and I'm sure there'll be major repairs there. We have Highway 155, of course, is closed. Highway 154 is closed, and several county roads are closed. And we have some people that may be affected in different ways than their home being flooded. Maybe they can't get in and out because of high water in the road, even though their home is safe. We've tried to get around and notify all these people. We've done that by code red, text message, code red phone calls. We've done it with the sheriff's department and the deputies. Sheriff Gilkey sent his guys around. They went door to door. So we're hoping everyone's been notified. And if you hadn't heard from them and you're in close to that area, you maybe need to call 229-4500. 4500, which is City Hall. My name's Mark Thone. I'm the Yale County Judge. Do you have any questions?
Mark, can you just tell us, can you give an idea of how many people, how many homes are in this area that, again, are currently underwater or surrounded by water, and then...
It's a small number that's affected by water right now, very small number. There could be a large number. Most of that will be in the city, I think, and I'll let Mayor Witt address that. OEM Director Gilkey said probably somewhere in the range of 350 could be affected, possibly, and possibly not. But out in the county, we don't have near that many affected because most of the water now is in the flood areas where people don't build. Most of the things that have been affected are farms, farm shops, sheds, and a few houses.
And can you talk about the number of people who are displaced around the county right now?
Well, there's quite a few that are displaced in the fact that some of them can't get home. Their homes are safe, but they can't get home or they can't get out. So I would call that being displaced if you couldn't get to town, but we have possibly a dozen or a few more at the center, evacuation center out here at the community building here in Dardanelle. They've done an exceptional job staffing that center. A lot of the local churches are involved and a lot of volunteers, and excuse me, they are doing an outstanding job, and we expect more, of course. So.
Do you know how many folks are seeking shelter at that shelter? And I mean, obviously, again, it's Arkansas. Most people go to family or
right. Yeah. Most people have relatives or children or mom and dad or something to go to. Like I say, I think it's somewhere around 12, maybe 15 at the most right now. Now that could change, of course, and we have asked the center to be ready for a higher number, so they're prepared.
12 or 15 just at the center, or 12 or 15 total who are going to?
At the center.
Oh.
This 350 number, is that addressing people who may not be able to get back home right now, or is that a projection for Dardanelle proper?
I'm sorry.
So in 350, then we said.
Oh, that's a total number, and most of that's in the city. So I'll let Mayor Witt address that.
You talked about the possibility that right now it affecting a small number of homes and then the possibility of it threatening more. What is the factor that would determine whether this becomes a major issue for many more homes? Is it whether the levee breach becomes much wider than it is?
No, that's not going to be the major factor. I would say is the river going to go down, and if we can get it going down, then that's less water that's going to come in, and we can maybe even do something to contain it. But right now the flow is so fast and so violent that you can't control it. But it's about reached its limits in the farming community down there where nobody lives, so it's going to start seeping into the residential areas.
And what is being done right now for containment strategy?
I'll let Mayor Witt address that. The cities and the county crews are working, but they're doing most of this stuff in the city limits, so I'll let him address that.
And is the county responsible for maintaining this particular section of levee?
The county is it's a levee district, and the maintenance on the levee was good. It was clean and nice and everything, but it ran over the top. And I was down there when it happened, and it's quite a sight to see. For probably 300, 400 yards, the water was cascading over like stairs. It was like you've seen pictures of water cascading down a stairway. Well, that's what it looked like, and when it blowed, it was instantaneous. It was just within minutes.
These 350 homes that are, I guess, at risk right now, are these still voluntary evacuations?
No, well, most of those are in the city. We had mandatory evacuations in the area that we knew that when the levee blowed, of course, and there was no one in that area, but there was only 7 or 8 people that lived there, so they were all gone. And then as it progressed, then we've gone around and asked them to voluntarily evacuate somehow. Some of course hadn't, but the bulk of those homes are in the city. So I'll let Jim address that.
Do you know how old this levee is? And when you say the maintenance was good, was that yearly?
About 70 years old.
Okay, so.
But I mean, it's served its purpose. It just couldn't handle that elevation of water. It wouldn't have mattered if it would have been a brand new one. It couldn't handle that elevation. So.
And the maintenance you said was yearly or every?
Well, whenever. There wasn't any gates or anything there. It was just dirt, and so there wasn't a whole lot of maintenance to be done. But it took it out, just pure and simple. Any more? Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'm Jimmy Witt, Mayor of Dardanelle. We have been having plans and preparations for this for 8 or 9 days now. And specifically, we have been preparing for what we have called the backdoor possibilities, which is what's happening right now for approximately 5 days. The back door being that Dardanelle is a real unique situation. We're sandwiched between the Arkansas River, and that everybody can see, and Smiley Bayou, which is on this side of town at a lower elevation. Smiley Bayou normally drains into the Arkansas River, and there is a small set of lock and gates down there that have been shut so that the Arkansas can't back up that bayou. Well, our fear has been that one of these levees would breach and pour off and fill up the bayou and then start backing up towards Dardanelle. During the duration of this flood, we have had tremendous success of the banks of the river staying where it needs to, the water staying in the banks of the river where it needs to be, and with very minimal damage. Well, now we have this section of water that's coming towards us without fail. And I just got back from looking at it whenever I got here, and it's approximately a half mile from town. And it's rising on a rapid pace. Now, there's no way of knowing how high it's going to get. There's no gauge on that. There's no model for that. The Coast Guard, the Weather Center, nobody can factor this in. So we're dealing with unknown situation that nobody can do anything about. Throughout this entire disaster and all the disasters I've been on in my life, this has been the worst one because it's unprecedented. There's no history. With disasters, you always have the opportunity to go back and look at what happened before and what was done to help mitigate for that. Well, you can't do that with this disaster. There's just nothing there, and it's not just us, but it's every state agency that we're talking to. There's no answer for it. So we've done exactly the basics. We've prepared, we've planned, we've got the word out to everybody, we've kept them up to date, we communicate with them all the time, we tell them the truth, and let them know here's the real possibilities of what might happen. And everybody, fortunately, has paid attention, they've listened, and everybody's done a good job of getting ready. And now we'll be getting ready to go that next step if it comes. Our evacuation center, yes, I've heard questions to Judge Stone about that. It has been set up. We actually activated that sooner than necessary. We were asked to by the Red Cross for the possible overflow coming out of Fort Smith, Van Buren, Ozark, because they were getting so much evacuees to theirs that we wanted to open up and be ready to go. Well, when you open one of those, you have to staff it and have everything ready to go, food prepared, and there 24/7. And so we've had a few come and go the last few days, but last night we started seeing some numbers, that are a little more substantial. A lot of times in these things, you'll have people show up for maybe a day. By then, they find somebody that they know, family or friends or a church will take them in, and they don't have to hang out in the gym or community center or somewhere, and kids have something to do. So that's where we're at right now with that. We also had to activate a pet care facility. These people want to bring their fur babies, and they bring them with them when they leave home, and we have to guard that and manage that 24/7, provide access to them to visit those. And we've got 3 dogs in that facility right now, so that's being taken care of. Joint efforts, we have worked tirelessly with Judge Stone. Fortunately, we're in a small community, so we've known each other our entire life, have worked together, cheered at football games together, and go to church together. So it's been a smooth transition, and it's worked flawlessly. And so we continue to do so as we move forward in his side of this disaster and my side. And then we have to come together and do joint operations at the same time. So it's been a logistics nightmare to get everybody personnel-wise scattered around from the county side to the city side. And that's about as much of an update, so I'll open it up to questions.
Mayor, you sort of said something earlier in the last briefing, after the briefing, about just sort of the response or I guess preparation on behalf of the National Weather Service and the Corps of Engineers. Do you feel like they were prepared? I mean, I guess you as you sort of mentioned, you couldn't prepare for anything like this, but
I don't want to prejudge anybody else at this point. I'm not there in their side of it. I come from a background. I'm big on preparation and planning, and think that you can never have enough of it. And so, hopefully, the goal with every disaster is to learn from it, and you want to mitigate your problem as you move forward. So. Hopefully we're all going to learn from that. We're all going to come to the table. We're going to sit down. We're going to decide how can we do this better next time. We isolated the bayou coming up. There's a couple bridges that comes through, and one bridge is really low, I guess you could say. There's not a lot of height between the level and the bridge, and if it comes up that bayou, then it's going to have access to the area of the city. And you have 4 drainage pipes that we drain Dardanelle with to that bio. So in reverse, we plug. Also have built a makeshift dam with super bags at that bio. It's going to cause a minor problem or two for a few people in the county, and I'm extremely sorry for that. But in return, it may give us the time needed and allow that water to settle and not get into the entire southern half of the city. And number-wise, we have about 1,800 homes here in the city, and that's about half. So it's a big portion of our residents. And so it's a hard decision. We made it collectively as a team, as we have throughout this whole thing, and feel like it was our best course of action.
That there was a nursing home in town that was evacuated. Is that whole area evacuated? How did that work?
No, we have, first, the nursing home is evacuated by their own choosing. The nursing home has a procedure manual that they have to go by. So when it starts, they will start protocol to start getting the rest of those residents out if necessary. So they've done that over a stage of 5 days. And, you know, you're moving 120. And they chose to go ahead and do that. And I applaud them for being proactive on that. It would be really hard if I called them today and said, I need you out by tomorrow. So a scramble and a very inconvenient deal on the patient. So, second part. Okay. Evacuation. We do not have a mandatory evacuation in town. They have been given a letter, hand delivered, door in the first area that we isolated. That may be we didn't isolate it. We were given the notice. National Weather Service that here is your area that may see water. So we chose to go ahead. We issued a code via text and phone, and then we went door to